Me and my friends and the cardiologist, everybody had thought, it'll be okay, it's not much to worry about. We see this in younger people. Sometimes it just takes a stent or two and you'll be okay. So during the angiography, during the heart cath, the cardiologist, he was worried. He turned the screen toward me and said, let me show you something. He said, there's so much occlusion that I would literally have to use 40 stents to have any chance at opening it up. There is occlusion along the entire length. It's not just one place that has this, occlusion forming from plaque. You have plaque all along the entire vessel. It was a shock. I did not think it would be that bad. He told my wife that there was nothing he could do for me. Hi, I'm Devashish Desai. I am 42 years old. I live in a city called Hurricane in West Virginia. I work as a pharmacist. I used to hike 8 to 10 miles a day, 3 times a week. About 8 miles into this hike, I've started feeling this odd pain in my chest. But I ignored it. Over the following days and weeks, the pain came back again, right at that same hill. And one day, it wasn't just in the chest, it radiated down my left arm, on the inside of my left arm. That day I realized that there was something going on, so I went to the ER to get it checked out. And I failed the stress test. Everybody had thought that, it'll probably be a stent or two that I might need, there might be a blockade here or there. Well, during the cath, it became very clear that I would need 40 stents. The right coronary was about 80% occluded. The LAD, which is the main vessel that supplies the left ventricle, the main pumping chamber of the heart, was about 70% occluded. The circumflex was not quite as bad, but it was still about 60% occluded. But there were a lot of collateral vessels that had formed off of the circumflex that were supplying the heart muscle. So everybody was surprised. How was I hiking? How was I out there going 8-10 miles in West Virginia hills? And how had I not just, keeled over by the trail side? So it was those little collateral vessels that had formed off of the circumflex that were supplying majority of my heart. It was a distinct possibility that if I didn't get that open heart surgery soon, that I would probably not make it past a year. It was a shock. It was a shock to my wife. It was a shock to my whole family that it could be this bad. So in a few days, I ended up with open heart surgery. They put in 4 grafts. Surgery seemed to go well. I recovered just fine. I go home. After the initial surgical pain subsided, it was time for me to get up and start moving around, and I decided to go for a walk. I get out of the house. I barely make it to the end of the street, and I get that same chest pain. Why was I getting chest pain by walking to the end of the street? Before surgery, I was getting chest pain after walking in the hills for 8 miles. I'm walking to the end of the street and I'm getting the same chest pain. So I called my cardiologist, called the CT surgeon's office. They said, no, it'll go away. You're probably experiencing some pain from the surgery. Just take it easy. Gradually we'll increase your activity and we'll send you to cardiac rehab and everything, and it'll go away. Well, it never did. It didn't go away. Even a couple months after the surgery, the pain would come on just with very little walking. I kept saying, something's going on. Something doesn't seem right. We decided to do another heart cath. They saw that out of the 4 grafts, 2 had failed. One of the grafts that failed was the arterial graft that was put on the main blood vessel that supplies the left ventricle of the heart. Something else that had happened is during the surgery, they remove a little bit of the plaque out. It causes scarring on the inside of that artery. In my case, that scarring was so severe that it completely closed off. There was no blood going through that main vessel to the heart, and the graft had failed. And even those little collateral vessels that had formed over the years, all those little collaterals were also dead. So here I was with less blood supply to the heart than I had before surgery. Well, I took these results to the Cleveland Clinic, talked to 2 different cardiologists there. They consulted an interventional cardiologist. Now try being a 40-year-old with a 5-year-old daughter and a panel of cardiologists and interventional cardiologists and cardiothoracic surgeons tells you that, yeah, you'll probably need a heart transplant in less than 10 years. They were really worried with so much occlusion that I could just keel over any minute. And medication doses had to be ramped up. For me to even be able to walk past a quarter of a mile, the doses kept going up, side effects kept going up. I felt all this swelling, horrendous headaches that lasted 10 days, the muscle pain, which really kept me from exercising, and exercise is what I needed to strengthen my heart. I carried nitroglycerin in my pocket all the time. There was this constant fear of the pain comes on, the next thing could be a massive heart attack. In my heart, I had accepted that this was gonna be the rest of my life. Constant fear of chest pain, constant fear of a heart attack. There was a distinct possibility that I was not gonna make it to 60. And that was a very depressing thought. It was about to become the fact of my life, but I was not ready to give up. The spring of 2018, my uncle, he sent me a video saying, I've heard about this natural bypass. Why don't you look into this? Maybe this will help because everything else has failed. I called my friends, my best friend's a physician, my other best friend's a training cardiologist. I called my buddies from the research labs. Did anybody know anything about this? Everybody said, no, I've never heard of it. What is it? I came to find out that it wasn't alternative treatment. It had actually been invented at Harvard in the 1950s. And it was just amazing that this was something that had never been brought up as an option for me before or after surgery. I had looked at Sarah's website and the testimonials. It became very clear that this was the best place to go to. During the very first treatment, it was not that feel of a medical facility. It was the feel of a very welcoming place where I had a coach who was gonna, walk me through the whole process. I started feeling better the very next week. I wasn't getting tired, I wasn't getting any headaches, I had more energy. But week three was the game changer. My ability to keep walking at the same pace farther and farther just started going up. By the end of week 3, all the pain was gone. I was able to walk 2 miles and I kept looking for it. Is it there? I don't feel anything. Then I decided if this is going to enable me to do this, I can't just walk. I'm going to do more. By week 4, I was working out with a personal trainer, 3 hours a week. I was working out by myself 4 to 5 hours a week. I was doing cardio on a treadmill, on an elliptical, on a bicycle. No chest pain. I went from being apprehensive of getting out of a chair too fast to doing 20 squats and drop down and do 20 push-ups, lifting weights, and go 40 minutes on an elliptical, maintaining my heart rate at an average of 148. You need support, reinforcement, you need encouragement. The affection and care and love that I've received in this program has been phenomenal. And all this knowledge that this team has gathered from so many years of experience, all of that was poured into me. That is what truly enabled me to go from just getting the treatments to make my heart better to really make myself healthy. And it has been a phenomenal journey. That was the added push that I needed to get better day by day. I'm able to do things I have not been able to do in 10 years. Sarah and her team really gave me a new lease on life. Yeah, my life expectancy that I had, gotten used to the idea that there's a chance I'm not making it past 60. I don't see a limit now. I don't see an end to it. I'm going home a transformed man. I'm going to be able to jump on the trampoline with my daughter beyond those 2 minutes that I could do before. She would say, "Daddy, let's go jump on the trampoline." In about a minute, I'm like, I can't keep going. Now I know I'll be able to keep going. You can be cured, in my eyes, cured of your heart ailment, and your overall health will improve tremendously. Follow the program. It's not just the treatment. It will change your life. It has changed my life. I just want to say thank you, Sarah. You have saved my life. You have certainly saved my life.